Howdy all you fellow photographers. Today we're going to look at 5 different tips that you can implement while using Zoner Photo Studio and that can help raise your editing level that much more. Tip number 1, straightening out the horizon. So you've taken a nice photograph, but the horizon didn't turn out the way you wanted, which is straight. And those are the kind of small details that make the difference. Thankfully, it's really easy to fix this in Zoner Photo Studio. Just open your photo in the Develop module, select the Crop and Rotate tool or the C key, and here you can adjust the leveling manually or activate the automatic function by clicking on Align Horizon. Use your mouse to draw the line that we're after, and voila, now we're talking. Tip number 2, cropping your composition. Since we've already used the Crop and Rotate tool, we should definitely touch up on another important detail when creating your composition. Adjusting the crop has a visual feel on the viewer, and we can guide the viewer's eyes through or to a specific part of a photograph that we want. For this photograph, we can see that our subject is dead center, which isn't necessarily a bad thing at all. But if we want to change this, Zoner Photo Studio has a lot of assistant features that will help us get the exact results that we want. One of the most common rules to compositions is the golden ratio. You can select it in the Crop Markdown menu right here, and when we place the line directly over the woman as our main subject here in the photo, the end result looks good and the composition starts to make slightly more sense. Just keep in mind that the smaller you crop the photograph, the higher the quality of the photo will need. And this is so that we don't get a loss of quality by essentially zooming in. The basic rule of setting up your composition pre-production still applies though, and to just do some of that final editing and change some of those final details in post-production. The composition of a photograph is a really broad topic, so let's put that to the side for another time. And also because everyone has their own sort of opinion about what a good composition in a photograph looks like. And to avoid any international conflicts or debates, it's safe to say that cropping is a very powerful feature and will definitely change the look of the final product. Tip number 3. We can adjust our photographs endlessly, but I think local adjustments are really one of the best tools we have at our disposal. Working with colors is super easy thanks to the local adjustments. Let's say we want to change the hue of the sky here. If we do it in a classic way or a classic sense, then we'll also change the color of the lake here though, and that's because they both share the exact same or a very close blue hue. So what do we do now? Well, we'll create a mask. We'll use the selection tool. And for this example, let's use the filter brush or keyboard shortcut B. And then let's draw over the part of the photograph that we want to isolate. Now we can easily adjust the blue color parameters, and let's change the blue luminance a bit, as well as the saturation in this case. And as you can see, the lake has remained unchanged and untouched. Just like in the mountains. Now let's move on to number 4, customizing the user interface. You may or may not be aware, but you can change the overall look and feel of Zoner Photo Studio. Now you may be asking yourself, why would we want to do that? Well, besides the cliche fact of we all like different things and we're all special in our own way, we've got a better reason. The simple fact of having a different looking interface can impact the overall look and feel of a final image post-production. Click on View, go down to Preferences, and then make your way up top to the uppermost option, which is Appearance. And we've got several options here. We can turn the entire color theme of the program into, say, a dark version. And if we're working on a very bright and light photograph like this one, then we can change the background color to make the photo pop out a bit more. And now we can really focus on the picture without any background distractions. Number 5, and the last tip that we have for you today are variants. A function that'll give you plenty of styles and versions of a photograph so we can always pick out our favorite. Simply right-click on the photo and select Create Variant. We can edit each variant differently and then compare, create additional variants, or whatever else you'd like to do with them. The amount of variants you create is purely up to you, and the added bonus is that variants don't work like standard copies, in the sense that they barely take up any space on your hard drive. So those are the 5 tips that will take your editing in Zoner Photo Studio to the next level. If you've got any additional ideas or comments, let us know in the comments below. Give us a like. Otherwise, I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao!